I just binge watched all 4 Indiana Jones films in 4K, and I've got nothing clever to say or do other than wear this stupid funny hat. So let's get to the review. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel for my review of all 4 Indiana Jones films in 4K. That is right, I'm a little bit late to the party on this one. Didn't get it the first week that it came out because I was hoping to pick it up in stores. Didn't find anything in stores other than the Steelbook, so I didn't grab it because I didn't want to pay $100 for Steelbooks. Then I found this at deep discount, I think a week or so later for 60 bucks. Went ahead and pulled the trigger on it and I got it. And over this past weekend, I actually watched all 4 films in 4K in their entirety. And this is going to be a bit of a unique review, at least for me, because I haven't seen any of these films since I was a teenager, so it was almost like watching them for the first time. I've just never been big on the Indiana Jones franchise. I don't know why. Like I said, I watched them once when I was a teenager, and I just never felt the need to return to them like I did other classic franchises like Star Wars or Back to the Future. It was just never my thing. So when this was announced, I was excited because it was going to feel like I was going to watch them again for the first time because I almost remembered nothing about them. So just keep that in mind as I talk about this franchise, as I talk about my experiences with it this go around, that I'm just not the huge fan of this series like other people are. I don't hold it to any kind of precious standards or anything of that. So keep that in mind when I talk about it, because I may have some takes with this franchise that aren't exactly in line with most people. But before I get into it, guys, just breaking it all down, and I just want to have a general discussion about all 4 of these films. I'm going to go one by one, and then I'm going to talk about the visuals and the audio and the special features and all that stuff, the normal stuff I do in this review. I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber of the Mid-Level Media channel, please hit that subscribe button. I do all kinds of great, amazing content on this channel, mostly centered around the world of physical media. New 4K Blu-ray reviews like this. I do physical media reports every single Monday where I break down all the new announcements, what's coming out new this week in my physical media report. I also do weekly Blu-ray hunts in stores showing you all the new releases. On Blues Day Tuesday, I do additional vlog videos going into Goodwills, Dollar Generals, Dollar Trees, all of that stuff. So if you like physical media-based content, if you like collecting, definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to hit that like button, guys. It really helps videos like this out. It really helps the channel, and I would definitely appreciate it. And comment down below. Please comment down below what your thoughts are on Indiana Jones. What's your thoughts on this 4K set? If you bought it, are you gonna buy it based on my recommendation? I will be leaving the link for purchase in the description below if you do decide to buy this. But yeah, leave your thoughts on this series in the comment section below. How would you rank the films? I think at the end of this video, when I get done talking about each one of these films individually, I'm going to rank them in order of my enjoyment of them. So let's go ahead and get started, guys, because we've got a lot of movies to go through. Again, I had never really reviewed a series like this before on the channel. It's usually movie by movie. Even the Back to the Future series that I'm doing right now, I'm breaking it down movie by movie. But I wanted to go ahead, because I am a little bit late to the party on this, I wanted to go ahead and get this out there. Just my full thoughts on the entire series, because I did binge it. I started, I think, Friday night. Friday night I watched the entire original trilogy, and then I watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull last night. So over the past 2 days, I have watched 8 hours worth of Indiana Jones, and I gotta be honest, I had fun. I had a lot of fun with the series. Overall thoughts, like I said, I haven't watched these movies since I was a kid. I understand why now these are the classic adventure films that they are. I had a blast with them. They looked freaking awesome in 4K, which we'll get to here in a second, breaking down the quality of that as well. But this is definitely a series I'm going to return to, and probably multiple times throughout the rest of my life. I enjoyed these movies a lot. So let's get into just one by one. Raiders of the Lost Ark. So this is the classic Indiana Jones film from 1981. This is the first one. This definitely has probably some of the more iconic moments of the franchise in it, with that boulder rolling, with the snake pit, and why did it have to be snakes and all that stuff. So like I said, I didn't remember much about this film at all. Just a side note though, probably in like 2008, 2009, I played through the entire Lego Indiana Jones games. Like I was a huge gamer back in the day. I played through that entire series. So Some of these like characters and references, like I remember from those games if I don't remember from the actual watching of the movies back in like 2002 when the last time I watched them was. So that's kind of an interesting perspective that I have. I was like remembering stuff from the Lego games while I was watching the movies. So yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. This is the classic. This is a screenplay by Lawrence Kasdan, who of course wrote Empire Strikes Back, my favorite film of all time. Story by George Lucas, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Harrison Ford and Karen Allen. Can you get like a bigger dream team than that when it comes to like making a movie? And yeah, this is a passion project of George Lucas, of Steven Spielberg. They wanted to create kind of like an adventure film that was like a callback to those serialized like story adventures that they enjoyed when they were kids on TV. So yeah, this is a really fun adventure film. It was far more mature than I remembered it being, just in terms of like gore and violence. There's literally a scene in this movie where Indiana Jones is like fist fighting this guy by a plane. Again, I remember this entire scene from like the Lego game. He's fist fighting this big burly dude by the plane, and he gets freaking thrown into the propellers and gets like chopped up and blood splatters everywhere. I watched this movie with my kids. This is the only Indiana Jones films I watched with them. After this one, they were out. They went back upstairs and watched and played video games and stuff like that. They weren't really into it. But this is probably the more mature, gruesome one, brutal one of the entire series. Like, there's a lot of blood splattering and stuff in this movie. Even the beginning with the initial tomb raiding scene, Indiana Jones comes out and he sees that spike that went through the guy's head that took the treasure from him. Like, that's a gruesome scene as well. Like, and there's all kinds of like, even in the end with the face melting and stuff. Out of all the films, this one is probably like the most horrific. Like, there's scenes in this one that feel like kind of scary, like a horror film almost. So yeah, I was surprised by how violent and scary it was. Also, the mature themes of like Nazis, Nazi Germany, stuff like that. Going into just the things I liked about it, again, the very iconic scenes. Like, I love the snake tomb scene. I love the initial scene. I love the meeting of Indiana Jones down by the river. That was a really cool kind of opening for Harrison Ford in this film. He like uses the whip and stuff, which is just iconic. So the cinematography visuals in this are just like on another level. Now, even getting into just what this looks like with the HDR and the 4K resolution, like absolutely phenomenal. Like the facial features, like I could not get over it. Just that scene with him looking at the treasure when he like replaces it out in the beginning, like it was so stunning. Just the detail in Harrison Ford's face in this. And it's like, like I said, I didn't watch these growing up, but if I watched them on VHS, remembering them then and watching them now the way they look, like it's so amazing the work that they're doing now. And these upscales and transfers and stuff, it's absolutely incredible. It's just mind-blowing when you really just sit back and think about what they're doing with like cleaning up these old classic films and making them look like they do today. Because you can see so much, you can really like notice that these are pre-constructed sets, especially in the beginning. It looked more like a theme park ride than it did an actual like movie set. When Harrison Ford's like jumping over the stuff and the boulders coming down, you can like see the railings that the boulders on and everything. So I just noticed a lot more. Overall, I did enjoy this film. I'd say one aspect that didn't really hit for me that probably does a lot of people. I love Karen Allen. Like, I loved her in like Scrooged and other films that she did in the 80s and 90s. I didn't necessarily love her as a character in this one as the character of Marion. I didn't really like her and Harrison Ford's chemistry together. I didn't feel their connection like I felt like they wanted me to. It felt like they were trying to create another like Han Leia type relationship, because again, you had coming off of Empire and A New Hope and like heading into Return of the Jedi, like you knew that Harrison Ford was really good with like these type of relationships and stuff and chemistry with other actresses in movies. So I felt like they were trying to recreate that with Karen Allen, making her like a Leia type character, and it didn't necessarily land for me. So overall, like I said, this is a really fun adventure flick. I understand why it's the classic and why certain people hold it to the tier that they do. For me, it's a 4 out of 5. Not great. Doesn't like quite reach that level of greatness. Again, I'm a little bit shy saying that because I know a lot of people love this film. But yeah, a 4 out of 5 for me. As far as the villain, also I thought was a little bit goofy. Just he had that like goofy look to him. He was kind of scary. Kind of reminded me of Dr. Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, to be honest, Christopher Lloyd. But he was a little goofy, a little silly, and I felt like he was kind of a moron as well. So a 4 out of 5 for this movie. Again, I know a lot of people will be like, oh my god, a 4 out of 5 for Raiders? How could you do that? I'm sorry, I just did. So let's move on to Temple of Doom, guys. 1984, Steven Spielberg, story again by George Lucas. There's no Lawrence Kasdan that wrote this one, starring Harrison Ford and Kate Capshaw, who I don't really know from anything else. My thoughts on this one, again, don't judge me, don't come at me. Well, you can come at me in the comment section if you want, but this is probably my favorite of the 4 films. A lot of people would say Raiders or Last Crusade, but there's a pocket of people that will always say Temple of Doom is their favorite. And after watching this film, I understand why, because I think that I am a Temple of Doom guy. This was my favorite. I love that they went the prequel route with this one. This one's set before Raiders of the Lost Ark. I just thought that was a really cool aspect of the film. Absolutely love the opening of the film with Indiana Jones and like the nightclub in Shanghai. I just love the more native settings in this one. I just like that overall, the temple, the look of the temple and stuff like that when they were in there inside of that. I just love the weirdness to it. The fact that Indiana Jones is like getting possessed and there's like a voodoo doll involved and they're like eating dinner and this big old snake and they cut open, all these little snakes come out, and Willie, played by Kate Capshaw, like freaks out about it, and they're all like eating bugs and chilled monkey brains and stuff. There's just so many like weird aspects to this film, but for some reason all of it was like right up my alley. And again, some of you all might think I'm crazy, but I love Willie as a character. She's probably my favorite of the Jones girls. I liked her better than Karen Allen. I thought that her and Harrison Ford had better, I thought Kate Capshaw and Harrison Ford had better chemistry than Karen Allen and Harrison Ford in the previous one. I thought they were great. I loved her arc in the film. I love how she's kind of like the dainty, like spoiled performer type, princess type role, and how she kind of goes into, she has to go in the pits with them. She has to help them. She has to help fight at the end, even free the slave kids. Yeah, I loved her arc in this, and I thought her and Ford just had such a great chemistry together. I also love the character of Short Round. It's such a fun character, such a fun sidekick for Indiana Jones. I thought they had a really sweet relationship together as well. And I also like how it's not just a raid mission. He's not just like trying to get rid of evil and trying to find some new artifact to go in a museum. There's actual purpose to this story. Like, he's trying to rescue these kids for this other native village. Like, they want him to get this artifact for him, but they also want him to free their kids because there's no kids in their village anymore. They were all taken to be slaves here to help find the other 2 artifacts in the temple. And I like the fact that it's something, it feels like something different than all the other films. It feels like there's purpose. It feels like there's a greater reason for Indy to do what he's doing. And yeah, they save all the kids in the end. It's a really great moment. And I just love how this movie wraps up. So yeah, at the end of the day, you can call me crazy. I'm a Temple of Doom guy. Temple of Doom's my favorite. I give this one, it's not perfect. There's a lot of weirdness to it. Again, some weird stuff with the script. And it does feel kind of strange that Indiana Jones, like in the first one, kind of points out the fact that he doesn't believe in like supernatural stuff. And there's a lot of supernatural things that go on in this film, and it's set before Raiders, so that doesn't really entirely line up. But I give this one a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed Temple of Doom, and I also thought the visuals looked fantastic again with the HDR and the 4K upscale. So The Last Crusade, guys, 1989. This one's directed by Steven Spielberg, story by George Lucas again, starring Harrison Ford and Sean Connery. This is one that a lot of people will say is their favorite. They love this one. I understand why. I think Sean Connery is a really great addition to this. I think him and Ford have great chemistry together in this role. I think their father-son relationship is really sweet and heartfelt, and they bring a lot to it just in their performances. You don't get him until around the halfway point of the film, so I do think the film kind of suffers a little bit in the beginning. It kind of drags a bit. I'm not a big fan of that River Phoenix opening with him as a kid. I don't know, it just didn't really add too much to the story for me. I didn't really feel like it was necessary or it needed to be there, because that guy that he meets in the beginning, the guy that he obviously takes inspiration from, and I didn't want Indiana Jones taking inspiration from anybody. I wanted him to be his own character, so I didn't really like that part. So he doesn't really come into play. Like, he sees him again in the beginning of the film and he takes the artifact back that he was looking for, but I have no idea like how that connects to the overall story of the movie. It just didn't feel like it fitted or needed to be there. Again, this is another fun adventure story. They bring the Nazis back in. It's the whole thing with them and the Holy Grail and the Fountain of Youth and all that storyline, which I always think is a really cool storyline of film, and they make good use of it here. Kind of culminating in a big event at the end, kind of like the first one did with the Nazis. with a really like gruesome death scene with the main villain when he drinks from that cup. Again, some spoilers here, so I'm sorry if you guys haven't seen it. I'm assuming everybody but me is a massive fan of the Indiana Jones franchise. But yeah, really cool end, really cool story. I liked it, and it's an iconic line with that guy that you chose poorly, and it just like disintegrates, and it's a really cool scene. The love interest in this one, Elsa, is pretty generic, and again, she's not like a true love interest because she's kind of more like a villain. I understand what they were doing with her, making her like kind of play both sides, but I didn't enjoy her. But again, it wasn't really about her and Indy in this one. It was more about Indy and his father in this one. So again, I didn't really feel like she was completely necessary to the story. There's some really good action, set piece moments in this film. It's really fun. It's funny. There was moments where I laughed out loud. The scene where Sean Connery like shoots the tail of the plane when he's trying to shoot the other planes, and he like acts like, oh, we got shot. Dude, like, I don't know what happened. It's a really funny moment. I was laughing pretty hard in that scene. So yeah, great chemistry between those two. Some really good action set piece moments. So this is really fun. It's about on par with Raiders for me as far as like an actual movie. So again, I would give this one a 4 out of 5. Not my favorite, but on par with Raiders. Again, I enjoy all these films. I think all these films, not masterpiece level, but I think they're really fun adventure stories. And again, I'm going to enjoy going back and watching these. So that's the original trilogy. Now let's get into some more controversial territory. If I haven't already ruffled enough feathers with saying that Temple of Doom is my favorite, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, directed by Steven Spielberg, came out in 2008. A story by George Lucas, starring Harrison Ford, Shia LaBeouf, Cate Blanchett, Karen Allen. Hell of a cast in this one. So this one right here, I saw in 2008 when it came out. I went to the theaters to see this one. I saw this movie on my honeymoon, which is an interesting story to tell. I remember enjoying it back when I saw it in theaters. Guess what? I still enjoy it. I don't think that this film is as bad as everybody says. I honestly don't get the hate or why people don't enjoy this film. I know Shia LaBeouf is a little bit annoying, and it was coming off his Transformers fame and stuff like that, so he kind of felt like he was a little bit full of himself in this one with his performance and just the way he acted, and he brought a little bit of that Sam Witwicky character to this one. And he didn't feel like Indiana Jones' son in this. Like, I get that criticism, but I think this is a very fun adventure story. It's really just in line with all the other Indiana Jones films in terms of like tone and quality. Like, I don't feel like a dip in quality when I watch this one compared to the other three, and I watched them all like back to back pretty much. So I enjoyed this one. The alien stuff at the end is a little weird with Cate Blanchett, but I thought Cate Blanchett throughout the whole movie was a really fun villain. She was really, again, kind of menacing and threatening. I thought she played it very well. I thought this had a lot of really fun, exciting action in it. I love the ant scenes and how it ate up the people and stuff like that. Again, you could say some of this stuff is goofy, but like the older ones have goofy stuff in them too. So this to me like felt exactly in line with everything that came before it. So again, yeah, don't get the criticism. I liked Karen Allen in this one better than I did Raiders. Again, maybe a hot take, but I thought she was better in this one. I thought that she had better chemistry with Harrison Ford. Like, I bought their relationship a little bit more in this one than I did in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, again, with Shia LaBeouf and Ford, I thought they had some decent chemistry, some fun. They were a fun pairing together in certain sequences. Again, I didn't feel like the LaBeouf son angle. You didn't really need that, in my opinion. He could have just been Karen Allen's son and maybe not Indiana Jones' son, especially since I don't really think Shia LaBeouf's going to be in the 5th one, so they're going to have to find a way to retcon that one. So yeah, I don't think he needed to be a son, but I thought he was a decent addition. He did a good enough job. So yeah, again, I think it's a fun movie. I'll give this one a 4 out of 5. Again, the same rating as I give Raiders and The Last Crusade. I can see people throwing tomatoes at me through the screen right now. But yeah, I would give this one the same rating as I give Raiders and The Last Crusade, and I like Temple of Doom slightly more than all of them. So at the end of the day, I liked all of these films. If I'm going to rank them in order right here and now for your all's enjoyment, number 4, I'll put Crystal Skull. I'll put Crystal Skull at number 4, even though I think it's very close in enjoyment to Raiders and Last Crusade. But just because it is newer and there are goofier aspects, not as many iconic moments, I'll put Crystal Skull at number 4. At number 3, I'll put Last Crusade. Again, I enjoyed that one, but I didn't think it really picked up until Sean Connery came in around the halfway point. Then number 2, I'll do Raiders. A lot of iconic moments in that one. It is a really good film, a really solid film with some good direction, cinematography, great performance by Ford in his debut role as this character. And then at number 1, guys, Temple of Doom. I really enjoyed Temple of Doom. I thought it was super fun and entertaining. And again, I loved him and Willie together in the movie and Short Round and just all the aspects of that film. Overall, guys, getting into the visuals, this is outstanding, guys. Outstanding transfer. This is, again, alongside like Django from the Arrow video release earlier this year, this is probably the best 4K release I've seen all year. Stunning visuals. Like, I could not believe my eyes seeing some of the level of detail that these movies are made in the 80s, especially Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. Wrap your mind around that. 40 years ago, this movie was made, and it looks like it was made yesterday. It looks absolutely phenomenal. You look at Harrison Ford's face and like the level of detail and the hair and stuff like that, and just the skin and just the wrinkles and stuff, like, and just how good it looks like in the tombs. Again, it looked almost a little bit too good because I noticed how fake everything looked, but absolutely fantastic. Aspect ratio is 2:39:1, so that classic widescreen aspect ratio, it looks really awesome with all the scenery and stuff that they show, that wide angle look. But it is an HDR10 Dolby Vision. These were of course shot on film back in the day. All 4 of them were, even Crystal Skull. So they're native 4K transfers. They look absolutely amazing, top to bottom, fantastic. Black levels are amazing. Such incredible detail. And I was just blown away. This is worth the purchase, guys, alone off of these transfers. If you love these movies, they have never ever looked better. Absolutely fantastic. So overall audio, guys, Dolby Atmos. Again, I don't have an Atmos system, so I cannot review this in the same way that other 4K reviewers will. So I definitely refer you to the more professional 4K reviewers for this, but sounded great to me. I'm listening to it on a Sony soundbar. Everything sounds fantastic. The score in this, I didn't mention this in the reviews of all the films, but the absolutely fantastic score by John Williams. It's one of the greatest of all time. And I love the score in all 4 of these movies in this. So overall, guys, for special features, again, this is probably my one negative. You don't get anything new here. And I don't understand why they couldn't add something new. Some kind of interview with Harrison Ford or George Lucas or Steven Spielberg. Something. Give me something new with these new sets. Like, this is coming up more and more lately with these new 4Ks. It's great that you're doing the 4K transfer. That's honestly the selling point here. So I'm not going to say don't buy this because there's no new special features, but it would be nice to include just a couple of new special features. But you do get a 2 hours worth of the making of, or I think almost 3 hours, the making of all 3 films. So these are all previous releases on previous Blu-ray sets, so it's nothing new, but you get all these additional features again. All the trailers are on the 4K disc, and then you get that additional Blu-ray disc for those special features. So another negative with this, I can see becoming a negative with some people, is a lot of these 4K releases, you also get a Blu-ray disc. You don't get the Blu-ray disc with this release. You only get the 4K disc for the 4 films, and then you get the Blu-ray disc with the special features. So no Blu-ray disc. I could see that being a big negative with some people because they like having both the discs. And honestly, I don't know why they didn't include it. They're charging like $80 to $90 for this set brand new. So throw in some Blu-ray disc. It's not really that hard. Just put it in there for people. You know that people would want them. One good thing about this though, and I have a giveaway going on my channel right now all the way up until probably this Thursday for all 4 of these films, giving them away in 4K. So every film has an individual digital code, which is kind of nice because the Back to the Future set did not include that. They put them all, and the Alfred Hitchcock set, they put all the films on one code. So this one has individual codes if you want to like give them to different people. Say you have a friend that likes Raiders the most, or a friend that likes Last Crusade. You can dole these codes out to different people in different ways. So I think that's a really cool thing to note with that as well. The packaging in this, guys, I do love the cover on this. I love the packaging, but I don't know if this was in my unboxing or this happened sometime between, but I'm pretty sure it was probably this way. But looking at the packaging, again, great map and stuff inside, but this is, the plastic in this broke all to hell. And I don't know if it was sent to me. I'll try to zoom in right here. I'll have to go back and look at my unboxing to see if it was broke all to hell when I unboxed it, and I just didn't notice. But yeah, the packaging to me, that means it's not the best if it can break that easily, because I literally did nothing to this but take it out and unbox it. So it might have been like a little bit shattered before I got it, and it kind of got a little bit worse. I don't know, when I unboxed it or something, who knows? Or when I got the discs out, I don't really know how it happened, but cheap packaging to me if it breaks like within a week that you get it. At the end of the day, guys, these are great movies, really fun adventure films, classic movies that are being seen in a way that they never have before with this stunning 4K transfer that looks absolutely phenomenal. So Paramount did a bang up job with these transfers. So I absolutely recommend that you buy this set right now. It's going for about $75. So it might be a little bit steep for you. You might want to wait for the sale on this one, but honestly, like, this is a great box set, absolutely worth the price just for the 4 movies and that great transfer. So with that, guys, I have reviewed and talked about all 4 Indiana Jones films in 4K. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video than my usual reviews, but again, hope you understand because it is all 4 films together. But I appreciate everybody watching. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your weekend and you hit me up tomorrow on my channel for my physical media report, episode 63. Please like, comment down below your thoughts on these 4 films. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all of those future videos, and we'll see you next time.